By the end of this video, you will have an understanding of how to implement a Singleton class, what it is, and what it is used for, and how to implement a base class in Unity using C#. For the best tips and tricks on game programming and game development, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload new videos every Monday. My name is George Wulfers and I am a professional game developer. Let me help you on your game development journey. And please be sure to watch to the end. Step number 1. What is it? The Singleton pattern is a design pattern that restricts the creation of a class to a single instance. Step number 2. Why do we care? This Singleton pattern is very useful, especially when you want a single system or a single instance of an object to be present for the entirety of the application. We use these a lot in game development when there should only be one class that handles a part of the game. For example, the sound manager class is a singleton because we only need one sound manager that manages how sounds are played. Or whenever a game is created, we only need one match manager or game manager that manages the rules of the game. So let me know in the comments below if you're struggling with anything and if everything is making sense. Step number 3. Class implementation. Alright, with Unity open and our project open, let's go into our scripts folder, and in here we're gonna try to keep things more better organized in this project. Alright, so we're gonna have our foundations folder here, and we're gonna create a C# script. And we're going to call it Mono Singleton. Let's open that up. Okay, this theme for this IDE is kind of bringing me back to the old days. You might be wondering what is this? Well, this is a namespace. This is also a namespace. And this is also a namespace. When making games or programming any applications, it is useful to have namespaces so that you have classes contained in their own packages. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to have multiple classes of the same name without the compiler or Unity in this case telling you that you can't do that. So we do this a lot in where I've programmed and in our in-house studio as well. So yeah, whenever you want to access this class, all you have to do is do that. And you'll have access to it. All right, so then what is that? That looks kind of weird, doesn't it? Well, we're just telling, we're just saying that this class is going to be a templated class. T. This could be anything. This could be type, as long as you use type everywhere. And we're inheriting from mono behavior. And we're telling it that wherever we see type is going to be casted to that monosingleton. This allows us to be able to actually, you'll see later on actually, this is just the base class. We're going to be from every other singleton class that we need to make, we're going to be inheriting from it, and it's going to allow us to actually properly set up this class so it can be used in many other classes, if that makes sense. Okay, so what just happened? That's a lot of code. All right, so every monosingleton or every singleton needs to contain their own instance. This is they're going to be creating the object or themselves automatically once you call them. So we need to have a variable for that. So that's what this is. And it's static because we want to access it from the class itself. We don't need to have an instance because this is going to be the instance, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to have two booleans, one to tell us if it's going to be staying alive. This is a Unity specific thing. When you transition from scene to scene, it clears everything unless they're marked don't destroy on load. Is initialize is going to be for us. We're going to provide a utility function called oninitialize for every singleton class that we need to allow them to get initialized if they haven't been already when they get called. In this other instance, this is a property. This allows us to have functionality, which in this case is the getter. So whenever we want to get the instance to access something within it, we need to run this procedure to let us know if it's actually been already instantiated or created, or if we actually need to create it, initialize it, and then return it. So that's exactly what happens here. So if this instance is null, if it doesn't exist, then we're going to find it. We're going to try to see if it does exist somewhere. If it's still null, then we're going to create our own game object, and it's going to be called whatever the class name is. And then we're gonna get that instance from the game object. We're gonna add the component, and this function actually returns that type of the instance, and we're gonna catch it here so that we have a reference. And then if we have not been initialized, then we're gonna call the initialize function. And then we're gonna find the managers here. This is just an organizational thing that I like to do, and we group everything. If it's gonna be only the singletons that are going to stay alive for the entire application lifetime, they're gonna be put into like a little bucket, and we're gonna just keep them there. But any that are just within the scene itself and they don't go to any other scene, if they don't persist to another scene, then they're just gonna be left in the scene until it deletes it. So if we have a parent, or actually if we don't have a parent yet, that means that we need to create it. So this is how we create a game object. We call it managers right here, and then we set it to do not destroy on load, because that, how I said earlier, we don't want these to be destroyed. And then once if we tell this class that it wants to stay alive, that we want it to stay alive for the entirety of the application, we're gonna parent it. We're gonna parent it to this parent object, which is the managers bucket, and then we're just going to return the instance. And that's pretty much it. Okay. All right. So this is a pretty simple function. This is the uninitialized function. And we're just, for the base class, we just wanted to initialize this to true. And that's pretty much it. All right, so this is just another property that when we get it, we're just going to return the variable that we have up here, whether if it's true or false, and we can actually set it to whatever we want at some point, maybe in the initialize function. Or we could set it to be a virtual. That way we can actually change it by overriding this declaration. And the last one, the last property, is going to be so that we can check to see if it exists or not, if it has been initialized or not. And actually, you want to call this one, because once we check to see if it exists, it's kind of like we're kind of cheating there, so that we call this whole thing so that once we actually call the instance when we want to call it, it already exists and is already set up. Congratulations! Now you know what a Singleton class is, how we use it, and how to implement a base class using C#. If you would like to follow along, I have provided a link in the description below for you to download our project. And don't forget to go to our Facebook page and say hello. We would like to hear from you. And before you go, check out these videos next on how to make a 2D game using Unity. And if you like this video, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and share this with your friends. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, be safe, and have a great week. I'll see you next week.